I'm a big dumb idiot, and I missed the first weekend of the FIA Formula 2 Championship.
Yes.
What exactly happened?
Okay, first thing, you have to go see it. Like, you can find it through totally legitimate sources on the Reddits.
Totally legitimate sources. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Nudge, nudge. Like, Formula 2 are very good when it comes to not taking down stuff, so I'm pretty sure you can find it. FIA Formula 2 weekend. I'm pretty sure we gave you a brief preview last week of the drivers involved, so I'm not going to do that rundown again. But let's just say their weekend got to an interesting start when it came to qualifying, where Chalres LeClerc pulled essentially a lap of the gods out of the bag and essentially just, got out of the car, parked it, and just said, you guys, go try something. And it seemed like we're getting this huge build-up to someone maybe being able to take down Chalres LeClerc, but then Gustav Malya and Jeffries, they ran into Nickel Jeffrey.
Pride of Malaysia, Naval Jeffrey, just, oh, gosh.
They collided with each other, so yellow flags, and essentially qualifying was over. No one was taking down LeClerc, but the grid was as follows. Oh dear, give me 1 second while I find the grid.
I do know that it was an all Prima front row.
Yes, it was all Prima front row.
Pole. Antonio Foucault stepping up from GP3, qualifying second. Another GP3 graduate, Nick DeVries, in third. It's all GP3 graduates in the first 3 spots of the grid. But it didn't turn out that way in the feature race, did it?
It didn't turn out that way in the feature race. The feature race was most notably, I would say it was a 3-way fight between Chalres LeClerc, Norman Nato, and Artem Markelov. And
the agent of chaos.
So, essentially, the race seemed to be a 3-way fight. Up until a point. Artem's engineer said, hey, Artem, we should definitely pit early and go long and see what happens. And Markelov, being the kind open-minded Russian that he is, said, sure, we'll roll with it. And so Markelov pits early. He comes out, I think, around like 6th or 5th. He slowly throughout the race, he's moving his way up the field. Everyone knows he has one of the fastest cars up there. While at the front, we have a fight between Chalres LeClerc and Norman Nato. Norman Nato, seeing that Artem Markelov is pitting early, still, holds to his strategy, but pits like a lap or 2 earlier than he normally would. And when Chalres LeClerc finally comes out, Nato realizes the undercut is on the brink of not working. Going into the first corner at Bahrain, Nato is behind LeClerc, heading that run up into turn 4, the long right-hander. Nato gets alongside because LeClerc wasn't quick enough because his tires are still cold, and he makes an amazing entire length of turn 4 around the outside pass on Chalres LeClerc.
Golly.
And it was incredible. It was incredible. Nato takes the lead, but it was almost a matter of time. They make it to about like 9 or 8 laps to go before Chalres LeClerc is able to, sit well with his tires, get the tires warm, get the speed back, and then make a move on Nato. But while we were distracted by the Nato-LeClerc fight, we forgot about the dark horse, Artem Markelov, who plowed his way through the field, made quick work of Norman Nato, and was coming for Chalres LeClerc. With 3 laps to go, LeClerc is, I think, 3 seconds back on LeClerc. Markelov is just coming for LeClerc. By the next lap, he's half a second behind. Next lap, he's in the lead, and the next lap, he takes the race win.
Man. So, in this new era of Formula 2, which is basically just a rebranded GP2 series, but it's Formula 2.
Yeah.
Artem Markelov, your inaugural winner of this new era of the championship. If you had your money on that, well, you're a damn liar.
You're a damn liar. You're a damn liar. And
Yeah, it was that seemed like a fun feature race. Now, I woke up about I want to say 7 in the morning on Sunday, and I woke up and saw everybody completely losing their shit. Tell me about what happened in the sprint.
The sprint was very interesting in considering, if you know anything about Formula 2, it's the same as GP2. The rules for the sprint race, it's reverse grid from 8th place onward. So you finish 8th, you start on pole. Thing was, the guys who finished 7th and 8th did not start on the front row. Matsushida's tires, like in the feature race, Matsushida had a terrible race, wore out his tires too early. He sunk like a rock through the field. For the next race, his team decided, screw it, we'll change our tires. So they had to forfeit pole and start from the pit lane. Antonio Fuco, who was also scheduled to start 7th, had to take a grid drop for a penalty during the feature race. So on pole for the sprint race, it was just an empty box. It was just an empty box.
What's going on, guys? So, goodness, how in God's name did Chalres LeClerc pull this off?
Grit, chaos, and I would want to say not strategy, but race smarts, because it didn't involve any pit strategy, of course, because during the opening lap, probably his biggest threat to taking the race win, Norman Nato, he lost control in the left-right after in the right-left after turn 4. He lost it, went into the gravel and into the wall, and he was out of the race. So generally, his main contenders were guys on slightly older tires. But again, this being the sprint race before in Formula 1, in the daylight in Bahrain, it was incredibly hot out. He was able to manage his tires while as well working through the field after taking a pit stop, because he as well was on used tires. So he took a pit stop and was able to work his way all the way through the field, and a safety car was deployed, so that also helped. I mean, a safety car was deployed during the first lap, so he didn't have to go as far, but his pace to take a pit stop during a sprint race where there's normally no pit stops and win the race was insane.
Golly. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I heard about this result and I was just like, I can't get to a TV. I can't get to an internet because I have no internet in my mom's house, but I'm just like, go on, Charles. Go on, get him. Go on.
So yeah, 11 laps in, he takes a pit stop to get fresh tires off his, completely destroyed tires. And he comes out, goddamn, he comes out 23rd, no, he comes out 14th in a 20-car field. It overtakes 13 cars to win the race.
In a span of 8 laps?
Yes.
Man. I'm just astounded. I've been a big proponent of Chalres Leclerc's talents ever since he had stepped up from Formula Renault into the European F3 Championship. I really thought he was going to be the rookie to take it to the guys like Felix Rosenqvist and Antonio Giovinazzi that year. I think his GP3 series win was a big breakthrough victory, and I firmly believe that even after just 2 races, he could be the next rookie champion in what is now the Formula 2 Championship. He now has an 8-point lead over Artem Markelov after 2 races, 36 to Leclerc, 28 to Markelov. Oliver Rowland had a couple of top 5s and finishes his weekend with 20 points. That's good enough for 3rd. And then 3 drivers tied at 18 apiece: Luca Giotto, Norman Nato, and Jordan King.
Yes.
Jordan King is 6th. Good job.
Yeah,
Good job,
King. Great job. But yeah, I would say the top 6 in the championship, they all have a legitimate chance of winning the title. They all showed what made them be able to stake their claim for this year's Formula 2 crown. Leclerc, Markelov, and Nato, they've all shown that they're proven race winners with race-winning speed. On the other hand, you have drivers like Giotto, Rowland, and King, who've shown that while they don't have the blistering outright pace as the other three. They've shown that they're reliable drivers, that they can always get to the end to be able to score points and finish high in the points. And if any of those, three race winners slip up anywhere, they're going to be there to take the race win away.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be another good season in Formula 2. Shall we leave the desert and move on to some other miserable, barren wasteland?